Hey, so guys, it's been a really long day for everybody. I'm not going to have anything to say, but there's a couple of things I do want to say. And last year I took some time, and I hope everyone remembers we really, wanted to thank Karen and Daryl for all their support. It's the same this year, right? It still requires a lot of work in the background, an awful lot of work. Daryl's like, meet me at 6 to set the tents up. I'm like, dude, that's not happening. They both work really hard, and I want everybody just to take a minute to really show it. And I know tonight is really kind of like the seniors, and it's great to see all you guys together. And I really think this year is probably the greatest group of young ladies that we've had in the last few years that certainly I've been around. So I'm really proud of every single one of you. And I think what summarizes that up, so when we were leaving the stadium tonight, Sneva with a ripped off butt, got in the car, and she just sat down and she goes, wow, I love those girls. That's what she said. And it made me think, that's what it's all about, right? You didn't get in the car and be, oh, we didn't win or whatever. She just got in the car and that's what she said. And I think it's something I really want you guys to remember. And it was great to hear her say that tonight. So the last thing that I want to talk about, which from a coaching perspective is really for me, most beneficial. I want Mo to stand up. I want Megan to stand up. I want Izzy to stand up. And I want Kaya and I want Sarah to stand up.
Sorry.
So for me, you guys make coaching rewarding because every single one of you, I've written down here, if we were doing awards, who would I give the most improved player to? And I don't think between the 5 of you, I could actually decide, right? All 5 of you this year, in my opinion, really came at the start of the season, I think had a lot to learn, and by the end of it, really, really, really improved. You all really, really worked hard. Every single one of you were there at practice all the time. So from a coaching perspective, I want to thank you for putting in that effort. I think you all made great improvements, and I think if you stick at it and keep working hard, we'll continue to see that in the years ahead. So thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
I didn't write a speech like Tim. He's got it all written out, bullet points and all that. Overall, it's been a fun year, right? I mean, I've been here, I think, a couple years at least, and there's always been some little internal drama, somebody doing something. And I was thinking about none of that this year, right? It's been a really smooth year. And in some ways, so then when we went to the Springs, I don't know how many of you went down to the Springs with us on that particular event?
Which
one?
The
one where Daryl was on meds and he was all cranky. Just sitting going, right? He turned into the grumpy old man, and so he wouldn't go to the Springs. So Tim and I went down there, and we were missing a few key players. I can't remember, a few of our usual starters. I don't know what we had, but everybody that went down there, we're like, what's going to happen? We had no idea because we had players who were playing new positions, players who hadn't been on the field yet, playing at a varsity level. And we get down there and we're like, our first game, we're like, well, let's just, focus on this one game. If we get through, we're good. We win by 30 points. And we're like, whoa, that was pretty good, huh? And so we're like, okay, well, we got so-and-so next. I don't even remember who we played next.
I remember we had a hard game of Legacy that day.
Yeah. Oh, that was the Lalani 4 stiff arms to the face, I think. Maddie, I think you finished that off for us. But it was a different weekend. Oh, it was a different weekend. I had a memory problem. Yeah, I know one of them. Oh, no, I remember. Right. But we won that one again, and by a decent margin. And we're like, wow, this is surprising on some level, right? And we play our third game, and we win that one too. Then we get Summit Black, of course, in the final one. I think we got second in that game, didn't we? But anyway, the cool thing was, we played like a team. It didn't matter who was where, or what girls were there or weren't there. It just looked like Swarm. And I thought, that is incredible. for you all to play like you did. So.
That was awesome.
You're up like nuts.
Come on, Dad.
Where's your speech? You got your sleeve there?
I don't know if I wrote one. Let me see. I just want to start off by saying, you know, these guys are really good public speakers. I'm not usually good at that unless I got a small group. But anyway.
And you're shouting.
Right, or yelling. And I was telling the girls today, you know, I've only coached the high school girls for 4 years, and today we actually got to 83 wins. And, you know, with that last loss we had, I think it was 6. So we were 83-6
Wow.
in 4 years.
Nice.
So I mean, so we've always had a great group of girls, and they've always, you know, it's about what's going on right now, the bond between the girls and the way they play, and it's just been incredible. So, yeah, I think this year we were 20-4 just for this season. So, I mean, that's pretty impressive when you think about it. You know, not a lot of people play the sport, and you guys come together and play the best you can. It was incredible. And I just, for me, I just love being around you guys because it's always a positive atmosphere. Even though these guys bring it down a little bit, we try to keep it upbeat when they turn up to practice. But, you know, I shouldn't bag them too much. We need to thank these guys for helping out. You know, Brett.
Shows up every once in a while.
You know, we made an emphasis this year on, you know, stretching the knees out and making sure that we don't have any knee injuries, and we didn't. And I mean, I thought that was kind of a big deal to do that. So, you know, he did a lot of that kind of stuff. And, you know, Tim, did you turn up?
Yeah, it's amazing. Not the early season.
He actually turned up more than he did. You know, because there's a lot of things going on you guys don't know about. They actually moved to Steamboat Springs, so that's a long way to come to practice, 3.5 hours, whatever it is, right? So Sunniva made one, didn't she? Yeah. I mean, for someone that made one practice, I thought, you know, the way she played today, right? So thank you guys for helping me out. It was, you know, a pretty big deal. And you know, thanks to the parents for being there and supporting us and helping us set up. You know, Karen for sorting all that stuff out. You know, today, you know, 3 days ago, we sent an email to Rugby Colorado and said, why isn't there an All-State team? There wasn't going to be an All-State team until like 3 days ago. And Karen and actually Carl Barth actually sorted this stuff out. We had the coaches, you know, vote. Thank you. They did their voting and all that kind of stuff. And I don't know if everyone knows that here today that they actually announced the first, what is it?
First team, second team,
All-State. The first All-State team was announced, and the second All-State team was announced. And we had actually 4 girls on the first All-State team, and there was 12 teams that played at the tournament today, but there's more like 16 to 18 teams, and we had 4 girls in that first All-State team, and it was Tessa, Sunniva, and the M&M show, Maddie and Maddie. So I mean, that's pretty impressive, and that was a pretty cool deal. And then they announced the second All-State team, and Asia made that team. And I think, Bailey, you made that too, right?
I did.
Yeah. Bailey Chaparral, she's turning up to hang out with us tonight. So, you know, 6 of the girls that are here tonight made All-State. That's a pretty big deal, you know, out of 16 teams. So that's pretty impressive. So thank you, Karen, for, you know, making that go, you know, with Kyle. And, you know, we had a couple of beers the other night. She's like, let me send this email. And, you know, of course, I had to sign it. Like, yeah, do whatever you're doing. And it was great. And then, you know, they did the Best Player of the Year, and they did the Academic Player of the Year. And I don't know if anyone heard that today, but there was 6 girls. They used to give out money for the academic player, but there was 6 girls that were nominated, and they were supposed to announce that today during the game, and we had Madison Lane was actually one of those 6. Yeah. Let me just double check my emails, yeah. And
I
I don't,
back check.
I don't know if there was anything, was there anything else, Karen, that,
No, that covered it all.
was it?
For us, yes.
Okay, so that was all that covered for us, so, what's next? No, let's get the seniors up here, and let's say something about those guys.
Oh, yeah.
So can the seniors come up, please?